Hey design fans, this is Angotti. We are at the Philadelphia Invitational Furniture Show, and we're at the preview party, and we found Gabrielle Cantor, who is the owner of Circle Floorcloths, and her stuff is super colorful. It caught our eye as soon as we walked by, so we had to jump in and say hi and introduce ourselves and get to know her product a little bit more. Gabrielle, behind us we have one of your floorcloths. Could you tell us the process that you do, what you do to make the floorcloths?
They're really made in the same way as a traditional floor cloth, where I start off with a heavyweight raw canvas. I shrink it so that later on, if moisture hits it, there won't be any rumpling or anything like that. It's pre-shrunk, stretched, it's primed front and back twice on each side, 2 to 3 coats of paint. And the way I do them is I make solid sections of canvas that are then cut up and sewn together like making a quilt. And after that, there's multiple coats of varnish front and back and some protective paste wax over top, and that's about it.
Cool. And where would we be able to use your floorcloths?
Anywhere on a hard floor. They don't really work well outdoors or on carpet. Usually they're ideal for wood, tile, concrete, anything like that, where you would maybe use an area rug. Something like this is spill resistant. It's great for people with pets. I have a 3.5-year-old, so spills are really no problem on it.
And I would imagine cooks in the kitchen would love it because you're telling us that Murphy's oil soap just cleans it right off. And
a lot of times people use them in kitchens, entrance areas. They can be really any size, so it can be a living room or dining room area rug. So they can pretty much go anywhere.
Great. And then you have how many patterns to choose from?
I guess about 15-20 patterns. I also do custom designs. Everything can be custom colors, and they're latex house paints. So when a client's far away, I'll usually mail paint chips back and forth. So we can find ways to help bring out colors that are in the rest of their home.
Very cool. Well, thanks for letting us stop by.
Well,
it's been a pleasure. Your rugs are gorgeous.
Thank you.
And I hope you do well at the show.
I hope so too. I appreciate you stopping by.
You bet. Hey design fans, we're here with Jay Brubaker. He is a furniture maker from Lancaster, Pennsylvania. There's a gorgeous highboy behind us that he's going to tell us about. Jay, thanks for letting us stop by. It's been a pleasure talking to you.
It's nice talking to you too.
Tell us what you do specifically in your shop, what you focus on.
I work mainly doing reproductions of 18th century furniture. Most of it is the Philadelphia Chippendale style, in part because that's what I'm really interested in. And also, just living in Lancaster area, that's close enough to Philly that people in the area are tuned into this. This is what the most desirable and the highest style furniture.
And Philadelphia at one time was a huge furniture hub during the 18th century, so that gave you a lot of examples.
Right, because it was still the big town in all the colonies, and that's where all the money was. This is how people showed their wealth or showed their style and taste and that sort of thing.
I would say that's still kind of true today, because I mean, you don't see many people that are ordering custom reproductions that have such ornate detailing.
Right.
So we're glad that you're still doing it. What is this made out of?
This highboy is made out of mahogany.
Okay.
And most of the formal pieces were mahogany. Some of these would have been walnut.
Okay, but we can order specific types of wood from you?
Yeah.
Okay.
You know, with reproduction work, you tend to stay with, here's what they typically used, and it's sometimes a problem. If someone has an interest in another kind of wood that isn't appropriate historically, I don't know what to...
It would be blasphemy.
Well, it shouldn't be.
That's true.
But there's still limits to what you can do. I mean, most people stay with mahogany or curly maples and other wood that was used.
Well, then we'll trust your experience, because you've seen plenty of examples, and he makes beautiful work. So we're happy to be here with Jay, and we hope that you have a chance to work with him if you are in the market for 18th century reproduction pieces. Hey design fans, we are here with Eve and Leonard. They are 18th century clockmakers, and Eve also paints for the clocks themselves, and they have a great display here at the Philadelphia Invitational Furniture Show. So we are going to hear a little bit about the piece that's behind us. They work on them together, which I always think is a fun combination that you get to work on something that's a beautiful project at the end, and it's two different processes that you're using. So could you tell us a little bit about the piece that's behind you?
This is a clock that was taken from a clock that was in New York State at a Shaker village. It was made in about the 1820s. The original piece was made out of pine, and I don't work in pine. I like to stay in the hardwood. So this is some very special cherry wood, and it's done to the museum drawings. And it really replicates the original very closely, except for the dial. And the dial is hand painted by Eve, and she can tell you a little about the painting process.
Since we learned from Leonard that there's a very niche market for clock dials and the styles, and yours is a little bit more folk than what we've seen on the other pieces, where do you find your influence for the paintings that you choose to put on the clocks?
Well, Shakers were very simplistic. They liked simplicity in their designs, and they didn't want to go overboard. Now, they did like color, but this is a fairly simple design, and it really matches and complements the Shaker. The design work in this was pretty close to what was in the original.
Well,
I think.
yeah, there was some confusion about what was in the original
Because it might have been changed.
they would change it. The Shakers would also take and make an exception about clocks that they wouldn't with other furniture, and they would have a clock that was a little bit more ornate than the rest of the furniture in the house. They had a special status for the clockmakers, but some of the Shakers would take a piece like this and de-ornament ties. They would whitewash over a lot of the design work. So when we saw this in the museum, we talked with the curator, and there was some discussion about whether that design was whitewashed at one time by the Shakers. You know, they purchased it, say, out in the regular world, and they brought it into their community, and they would cover some of the design work. And they had it restored with the color and some design work on it. So it's a little unclear what was really going on.
But the bird and fruit and flowers was very traditional for the time.
Well, it fits really well with the clock that you have.
Thank you.
This has been a pleasure. It's sort of a rare find that we were excited to meet Eve and Leonard and see the work that they've been doing. They have a broad range of styles that are here. There's some that are more plain than others, but whatever your taste might be, and there's even clocks for kids that are short. So check them out. We will set up the link when we do the profile so that way you can see exactly what their range is in styles and the different aesthetics that you might be able to fit into your home or special vacation home. So thanks for joining us, and we will catch you on the next vlog.